Hello, this is a video about the full cost methods, and in this video we will continue with the step number 4, cost of production as a packaging workshop for the company Handfloor, who produce the two kind of product, Lally and Darren's Herbal Tea. So this section will calculate the final cost of producing the package and then check the finished goods inventory to determine the cost of the goods that were sold. So before go to the how to calculate, we may have to look at the how to say the production process as is a step and how we can calculate all of the quantity. So first, let's confirm the receipt for 1 tin of Lily herbal tea. So we can look at the Lily herbal tea first as usual. So we know that 1 tin contains for 20 paper bag, right? And 1 paper bag contains 2 grams of dried plant sachet. So now we have to use this information to work from our total plant consumption to the packaging unit, because we, for the cost calculation, one of the most important factor is to calculate the we call it the unit of activity, the total activity or your unit cost time. So now, in order to know how many bag, how many kilogram, etc. to produce, so we will convert the total plant consumption to gram, that because in the session they give you the kilogram. The calculation for the packaging the material is based on gram, yeah, but our plant consumption from our table 5.1 is in kilograms, so this is very simple. In the first step is to convert the units. So we have a total dry plants used or consumed in the packaging is 800 kilograms. So here we can have a calculation equation of the 800 multiplied by 1000 kilogram, gram per kilogram. So you have 800,000 grams. It means that now we have a total of 800,000 grams of dry plants to be packaged, right? So this is first step. This is we know that each paper bag of tea must contain 2 grams of dry plants. So in order to find the total number of bags we can produce, we divide our total supply of plant material in grams by the amount needed for each bag. So here we use the following the formula. The total bags should equal total grams of plant consumed divided by grams per bag. So here you have this equation will help you, will show you how we obtain the figure of 400,000 paper bags. So now you know that you know how many paper bags have been used. And now you know that how many bags, we know that we are producing 400,000 individual bags. So we can determine how many tins are needed to hold them, to contain them. So according to the production receipt, each tin holds 20 bags. So we can apply the following formula. The total quantity of tins produced after this workshop during that period should be the total number of bags consumed divided by the number of bags in 1 tin. So this is by using this formula and calculation, this is how we arrive at the final production quantity of 20,000 tins. So with a little bit step by step, we can say that the entire calculation is a direct chain. The total amount of the core ingredient for the liability is 800 kilogram of dry plants. Dictate the number of primary package is 400,000 bags, which in turn dictates the number of secondary final packages of 20,000 tins, right? So here, if you can see from here that we have a table of the cost of production of packaging workshop, likely the herbal tea. So we look at the first column on of the element. So I put here the direct cost. So for the direct cost, this is the first one. We have a direct material. So for the here we have all of the material and the packaging used. So now I already explained to you that the direct material used in this workshop is 800 kilogram. Is the quantity of the dry plants. The direct material paper bag used in this one is 400,000 of the empty paper bag, and the quantity of the empty dry packaging is 20,000 tin, right? So now if you look at the first part here, you can find the unit cost of the direct material, direct paper bag of the tin. So you apply, in order to calculate the total amount of the direct material cost, so you just multiply your unit cost that we calculate from last period with the quantity consumed. So you will have the total amount of direct material for plant is 51,040 euro. How we can obtain the unit cost for the paper bag and the empty tins? This information given by the subject. So you just the multiple of unit cost and the quantity. You have the total amount of cost of this one. So now the next step, we have to calculate the direct labor cost. So the subject give you the quantity of 400 hours of the direct labor work in this workshop, and as the cost of 50. So you calculate the total amount of the cost should be 50 unit cost multiplied by quantity. So in sum, we can see that I break down this in the two slides. The first slide to sum up is to calculate the direct material cost. The second step is to calculate the direct labor cost. Right? So you already have your own information. And now we will calculate the indirect cost and also the total production cost and the unit production cost, right? So in order to allocate the indirect cost, we have to remember that this assigns a share of packaging workshops overhead, because in the packaging workshop we have two products, so we assign the share of cost of likely herbal tea. Where we can find the information, so we can see that from here that the unit driver here should be the bag, right? So we can move the quantity is 400,000 back here, and you will have a unit cost. A car driver is 5 cents per one bag. It means that you have to go back to the indirect cost table, and you have a total amount should be equals the quantity multiplied by unit cost into 20,000. So you can hear from here that. And we continue with the next step. We calculate the total production cost to be the sum of the own costs incurred to produce the finished tins. It means that the cost of the direct material, the packaging material used, the direct labor, and the indirect cost. So where the sum is 120,040 euro. And now it's very important to to know which will be the quantity of the final product after this workshop. So here we have the final product is the number of the activity is produced in tin. So here we have a 20,000 tin because we use 20,000 MT, so we produce 20,000. So we use and the last step we have a calculate the unit cost of the packaging workshop for Lily Herbal Tea should be the total cost amount divided by quantity. So you can see from here is how we can calculate the cost of production at the packaging workshop for Lily Herbal Tea. Now this we will use 6.0 or 6 euro and cents for per tin to apply in the next step. We call is calculate the cost of the finished goods inventory, right? So here is the table of finished goods inventory for Lily Herbal Tea. So how we can calculate this? So it also divide by this step. The goal here is to use the weighted average cost method to determine the value of the tin sold and the value of the tin remaining in inventory, right? So now for the step 1, we identify beginning inventory and new production. So the beginning inventory, this is a given, and we add production. This comes from our last table, 6.1 that you produce 20,000 tin as a total cost of 121,040. In the step 2, you calculate the goods available for sale. It should be the sum of the beginning plus the production is 24,000. And now the step 3, you calculate the unit cost of the inventory should be the total amount 146,400 divided by 24,000. So you have a total, you have a finished goods inventory cost for one tin of Lily Herbal Tea available for sale is 6.1 euro. Okay. So here is showing you how to calculate this and how to make it. So now we will continue to apply the same methods to calculate the cost of production as a packaging workshop. For the second product is the Durant Herbal Tea. After the 5 steps, the first step is calculate the direct material cost, the second is the direct labor cost, allocated indirect cost in the third step, and the total production cost, right? So we can have a unit production cost is 5.26 per tin. So here is our table. We also apply the 6th step to calculate the finished good inventory. So we have a 5.26 of the good inventory per tin. Right? So now after this one, we finish our 4th step to calculate the total cost of production for 2 products. Right? I think now I make mistake. Okay. So now we move to our step number 5. We calculate the total cost of goods sold. In this part, we take the production cost of the goods sold. We add the non-manufacturing overhead. It means that the distribution, administration to find the total cost, and then we calculate the final profit, right? So in order to calculate the total cost of goods sold, we'll follow by few steps. But first we look at the goal. The goal here is to determine the full cost of 22,000 tins of the likely product was sold. This includes not just the cost to make product but also the cost to distribute and manage the business. So we will divide by few steps. The first step, we will start with the production cost of goods sold. The second step, we calculate the allocated distribution cost. The third step, we calculate the allocated administration cost. The fourth step, we calculate the total cost of goods sold, and finally calculate the full cost per tin sold. So you can see here is our full table of calculation of total cost of goods sold for Lally Herbal Tea. So now you know that I always ask you to pay attention on the units, right? The unit is different by each type of of cost. So first we look at the unit driver of the production cost of goods sold should be in tin, right? So the quantity after when we sell is 22,000, right? So 22,000, we have the unit cost in the last table is 6.1. So we have a total amount is 134,200, right? So now we will calculate the indirect cost of the distribution center to the Lally Herbal Tea. In this one, for the Lally Herbal Tea, they mentioned that the unit driver is 100 euro of revenue, right? So that's the reason why we have to calculate how many quantity of the unit driver. And okay, so for the 2,200, I will show you how to calculate in the next slide. But now we look at the administration cost first. The unit driver, or the nature of the unit driver, is the cost of production. So here cost of production should be how we calculate, because the production for 20,000 tin show at the unit cost of 6.1, so you can move the 134,000 here. So this is the cost of production, and you apply the unit cost in the cost indirect cost table, right? And finally, for total cost of goods sold, the unit here is a tin, and here's the 22,000 tin, the quantity of product sold, right? So now this is a table, but now I can show you how we can calculate the quantity in the allocated distribution cost, right? So step 3, we calculate the allocated administration cost. These are the general overhead costs for running the, this one, okay, the business, right? For example, the management salaries, the officer, and etc. We can use the rest in the table 1 is based on the cost of production of goods, so as a rate of 10 cents per dollar. So it's a basic rate, right? It's not like physical unit driver, but it's a monetary unit driver. So the cost driver amount is the value of step 1 is 132.20, and we apply the rate. So we have administration cost like this. So I hope that is clear for you. And now we go back to calculate the allocated distribution cost, right? We know that these are the costs associated with selling and delivering the product, marketing and shipping, etc. We find the cost driver rate in table 1, which state the cost driver is 100 euro of revenue at the rate of 5 euro per this base rate. In order to find how many is the quantity of 100 of revenue, First, we need to find the total sales revenue for Lily. Should be the total quantity sale multiplied by the price per one quantity. So we have a 220,000. So next, we will calculate the number or the quantity of driver units here. Should be the total sale revenue divided by 100 euro. So here we have 2,200 how to say unit driver. Finally, we apply the rest for each unit driver for this center. The company have to pay more for 5 euro of indirect cost. So we have 5 multiplied by 2,200 should be equal to 11,000. Finally, we have a distribution cost for this product is 11,000. So that you can see from here 11,000, right? And you just finish the last step. The total amount should be the total of production cost of goods sold, indirect cost for distribution, indirect cost for administration, and you calculate the unit cost of goods sold for Lally Urban is 7.21. It equals the total amount divided by total quantity. So after this step, you will continue to do with the income statement. It means that you calculate the net operating income, right? So the goal here is to calculate the final profit, the net operating income for the Lally Urban Tea product line by comparing the sale revenue with the total cost of goods sold for the 22,000 product, right? So we'll go by 6 steps. The first step, we calculate the total sale revenue. And the second step, you calculate the total cost of goods sold, but you know that you have already. And the difference between the sale revenue and the cost of goods sold, we have the net operating income. So now you have a sale revenue is 220,000. Cost of goods sold should be the quantity multiplied by unit cost is 7.21, right? And here we have the amount, and finally we calculate that the amount net operating is 61,380,000. But we also calculate the net operating income per unit should be equal to the total amount of net operating income cost divided by quantity of product sold. So we have a unit, the net income per unit should be the 2.79 euro. It means that for every single tin of the Lally, the Urban Tea sold, the company earned for 279 cents, right? So you follow this 5 steps, okay? And now you do the same for calculate the total cost of the Duran Urban Tea. And so after that is now we can find 6.24, and you make the income statement. So you see that the calculate the net operating income of Duran Urban Tea is a positive. It means that the company is profitable for both two products. So here's the table of the income statement, right? So I think that's good now, and we will go look at the company's performance analysis. So now it's better to make the key performance indicator KPI of the company. We have a few metric here. In the first part, we have a metric about the quantity, the amount by the whole production, the sale revenue, the total cost of goods sold, and the net operating income by the Lally Urban Tea, Darren Urban Tea, and the total, right? So you can see that the company did very good business because the net operating income is good for own product is a positive, and we have a 100,076 euro. We are in the second part. You can calculate the full cost per tin, and we have a profit per tin, and we have a profit margin, right? So profit margin should be the how we can calculate the profit margin. So we calculate the profit per tin divided by the full cost. Okay. So we take a little bit to analyze the inside of the company. So both the Lily and T, they have the volatility. They generate the majority of the company's absolute profit, 61% of the total, due to its high sales volume and higher price point. And we can say that it is the company's primary cash generator. For guarantees, this product also can be the leader in the margin and efficiency. Despite there is a lower total profit, guarantee is a more efficient product, boasting a significant higher profit margin of 30.7%. This indicates the strong profitability relative to its cost. If we look at the cost structure of the company, is the key differentiator. The primary reason for Durant's higher margin is the lower cost base, right? So you can see that the full cost per tin is 13% lower than Lily, and just maybe have a cheaper raw material. And if we have say something about the strategic recommendation, we can see that the company may have three main strategies. The first one, they may have to optimize the daily cost. That means that they have to focus on sourcing the cheaper slimming plan or improving production yield to create the profit margin of the company's best selling product. Second, we talk about to grow the volume of the product. It means that we can have maybe provide a marketing campaign to make it sell more. And finally, we can think that about the pricing strategy of the company for Durant, right? So of course that's our suggestion, but if you can add more, right? Okay, that's it for our presentation about the food cost methods that we follow by different video. I hope that be clear, and see you in next video. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact me. Bye for now.